Good morning, Saturday. My neighbors are out there fighting at 3 o'clock in the morning. Big old fight. Too freaking cold. It's like 12 degrees, and I don't know what it is with the with the wind factor. So they're out there fighting. New neighbors, but I've been listening to about what the the new elected President Trump and his uh, new people that he's bringing on the the cabinet that they're going to vote in their ideas. I think like the one thing they really think is going to happen because they one of the first thing like here in Memphis and a few other places is they hired a whole bunch of more policemen to solve the ongoing problem with a high murder rate, high crime rate, which the high murder rate and high crime rate is really uh, you could sort of correlate it with the decline in teen employment and the jobs going overseas. But instead, they're going to get more police, which is something they've been doing for the last 30 years for that problem. And one of the things that they were able to accomplish in those 30 years is to privatize the prison system so that there has been a lot more violations of our civil constitutional rights. And it has put more devastating harm on the poor in the sense that since 2008, um, well, before 2008, nobody was paying attention to what was going on with a lot of the businesses like Trump was running. Trump is now going to run the United States like he ran his businesses, and most of his business ended with him not paying his contractor, foreclosure, like his casinos, they all failed. And was in New Jersey, uh, in Atlantic City, and the numerous other places where he's been notorious, like the Scottish, the whole country. They don't like the way he doesn't like renewable energy because he thinks it's ugly. And I think golf clubs are actually very disgustingly ugly. Usually it's been a nice lush area where now it's just some cut downs of some grass and like barrier areas, and it's it's not as attractive to the eye as it was before it was a golf course. But that's just me. And he's filed numerous bankruptcies on a lot of his business endeavors. Uh, and where a lot of them also were sort of you might say that was sort of like he was doing like a con man, like with his Trump University, Trump Steaks, Trump Water. Um, uh, um, he just wasn't. So that's the type of business that we're probably going to have in the United States. And then you have to understand in the United States, we have a lot of it's a lot of other indigenous people in other countries, like in South America, like in Africa, in the different Asian regions. And when you go Africa and Asian region, we're adding in Libya, Syria, Afghanistan, uh, um, uh, um, uh, but the fight, is with the Republicans. You know what I'm saying? It's with the white Caucasian that think like Trump and his millionaire buddies. Maybe they're billionaire buddies. It's like and there. This reminds me of them being like a parasite that they're going to be feeding off the poor. The poor right now that are drowned in student loans. If you don't have a mortgage, you're paying rent. Um, if you have a car, you're paying on your car either for upkeep or insurance. Uh, um, and some places even like uh, 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 um, you have oh, and then you have your regular bills that go along with that. Not only with your mortgage, your electric, your mortgage, your rental, you have your insurance, you have electric, uh, you have your cell phone, of course, um, and then you're paying for every services. Like television is not free no more. Radio basically is really not free anymore either. Uh, uh, so then I think that with them, if they come down and put more pressure, have more police come in to their neighborhood, put more pressure on us, raise the price of stuff, and put more financial hardship. What's going to happen is we're not going to be able to afford to keep buying stuff from China. We are the consumers. And so once we stop buying stuff from China because we just won't have the money, you'll be worth anyway. China, Japan, Taiwan. There's no place in the world that likes the Trumps of the world. Um, the people of the world is tired of the war, and we understand that the Koch brothers uh, and the Rothschilds. I wish they were still fighting out there. And see, like white America, they know they know they have experience. They know that the black people are so poor, so oppressed, and with no money that we take it out amongst ourselves. So they're just gonna come in here and pretty much massacre. That's basically what the Trump administration is gonna do. They just come in and massacre a bunch of blacks, just shoot them down, but they don't shoot down. Put them in their prisons. That anyway. I mean, but the police are not going to get any richer. Even a lot of even a lot of local officials, they're just going to make, well, they're just going to let black people have so much money. It's not going to really be going to filter into the black community. They take money out. Like I said, the white people have become like sort of a parasite uh, to the rest of the world. They depend on them for their living, for their money, for their oil, for their gold. You know what I'm saying? And instead of showing some respect or appreciation to these places that they already devastated, either through like if they want to come in, I can't think of the name of that the big corporation that just does all the vegetables. They go into an area like in South America, so they want to do pineapples or something. And so like over there, they have lush areas. They've been growing food for their communities for centuries, and pineapples in the midst too. But they'll knock all that out just to have pineapples. And then the next thing you know, well, they have a solution. Now you got to buy your food in the grocery store. Their whole idea is so that you will not be so disconnected from nature that regardless, you always have to go to them for your clothes, your food, your shelter, your transportation. You go to them. So we're not doing any of these things for ourselves. We're not growing our own food. Uh, and we're not like, I know like a lot of people they're like, oh, my kid's 7 years old, he knows more about computers than anything else. I remember when I was a kid, there was like kids that was 7 or 8 years old that knew more about how to make those little wind up toys, or do a shortwave radio, build their own radio and stuff like that. You don't have those kids anymore. They couldn't build you a computer or a radio, but they could hack it. So anyway, basically what I'm going to say is that because of the obstruction that the Republicans did during the 8 years administration of Obama, that they have a mindset that they think that things are going to go a certain way. because they're very narrow, and don't understand the gravity of their the war mongers and rape and murdering type of mentality that it takes to pull off what they want to pull off, and that if they don't recognize the reality and the truths of the world, like we are warming up the planet, and there are solutions. It doesn't have to go around gas. If that's on oil, and if you think you're just going to continue building your pipelines and doing this and doing that, yeah, you might do that. But there might be a day where you just look around and there's just no air for you to breathe, no water for you to drink, and the food is so toxic. You know what I'm saying? Who is this white parasite? Who is the Trumps? Who that Paul? Can't even say his name. Right? Gonna who's a, who? Where are they gonna suckle off all the life out from there once it's gone? And I don't think it's gonna be so far in the future with the way the carbon emissions or are being spewed out and then being sucked into the water and our soil. We're not going to be able to. Anyway, so I think that we'll see in the next 4 years that the destruction uh, of the United States financially, and they already started with our Constitution, destroying our Constitution. It just you could just look at the police and the court systems to see that that is devastating. Uh, Obvious that our Constitution and our civil rights have not only been violated, but who's not to say that that history won't find that the Republicans was just uh, is such a or so disgustingly um, just disgusting, and that their actions and their inactions over the last 8 years with Obama obstructing his ability to keep America safe and secure has led to, I think, what's going to be the truth in the future, that every action that you do has a reaction, and if you didn't think out what you're doing and understand that there are results, and that you could and like they're just gonna blame black folks, so blame everybody else. So they're not gonna take responsibilities for their actions. They're not gonna change anything. They're gonna continue to do the same thing which that they've been doing. And you know what I'm saying? And you could just look in little pockets of smaller, the community, the city. Anyway, we're gonna find out that Trump, as a businessman, he's just gonna run the country like he ran his business. Well, he ran failed business. He was a con artist, pretty much a crook, and a sort of a narcissistic womanizer. Uh, but I think children that he's brought into the business world are very jaded.